welcome to another video from the Ice Bear. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share with your friends, and here we go! Hello, welcome to another video. We're in the camper, the car's on the trailer behind, the fake taxi, down Airport Road, or Airfield Road even, which can only mean one thing. It is time for Doorslammers. Let's go! Right, we'll get ourselves booked in and parked up and what have you, and then we'll update you then. Here we are. We've made it. Car's in the gazebo, fitting with George. Wheels are on. And we're all fueled up, we're ready to go. So we can enjoy the rest of Thursday. Get some relaxation in, ready for it all to kick off tomorrow. So yeah, so what we're hoping for, well, a new PB would be nice. We've modified, well, Graham's modified the clutch slipper with now a pressure sensor in it so we can see exactly what it's doing when it's doing it. So all being well, we'll be playing with that. We'd like to see a new PB, maybe a second gear launch, see how they go on, and win a round on merit. That's all we want. Not bothered about winning, not this year anyway. Right, so I'll check in with you later. See you in a bit. Morning all. We're signed on. We've got a scrutineer sticker on the car. We are ready to do a pass. So, without further ado, let's go and see what happens.
Next up, Mark Turner, and that is Alan Kenyon, who is 100th of a second quicker than me on our all-time best. Is that right? Yeah, with the Hocus Pocus focus. Yeah, Alan's PB is 1085. I'll never forget that, because mine's 1086. Scott Collin, I think, is probably the biggest story of all. How he's managed to get the 100E back.
He's still looking for bits,
I know, but he's here. Fingers crossed for you, mate. You deserve to hit that track and get somewhere near to it.
Especially a work trip to China almost straight away afterwards as well.
I think Alan Kenyon would go, where did that car go? Oh, 750.
The two. Wow. If you're going to do that on Friday morning. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, been for a first run there. Muggins here forgot to turn the in-car camera on again. But you didn't miss out. It wasn't a good run, as you've just seen from the YouTube stream. It's launch was great. That felt really good. The clutch slipper modifications that Graham's done seem to be doing what we expected them to do, which is good. So we've gained something, we've learned something. You know, it's never a true waste, is it? But missed second gear, eventually got it, then third, and then missed fourth, and then got fourth and rolled out to 13 summit, whatever it was. You know. So if we do nothing else, then we're in the dance and the name's in the draw and what have you. So letting it cool down now. We're going to give the clutch another bleed up, because then these clutch slippers are notorious for being shitty to bleed. So let it cool down, grab some lunch, bleed it up, maybe get one run in this afternoon before the timetabled qualifier this evening. But yeah, but I shall. You will know when I know, which will be next.
Alan Kenyon in the Hocus Pocus Focus, taking on Ben Faggoter with the little Fiat Uno Turbo. There you go. Well, you can see it around about 330 foot. There's something in the right-hand lane. Morgan.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Chris is going for a jog. Oh, look at that turn of speed.
What's the 330 going to be?
Oh, quicker than me.
Good. Uno didn't manage to get that second gear though. So Alan's best is a 1085. Starts this time with an 11:58.120.
Well, that was going great until I missed fourth gear again. Fuck me. I'm just going to have to go fucking super steady with it. Oh well. Well, that hoo-ha on the start line, people are shouting and screaming, and I'm looking around going, what? What's wrong? Someone in the middle of this. Well, I am hot. In-car camera got that one, thankfully, but it shut. The in-car camera shut off because of too high of a temperature on me ride back. It was that hot. I am sweaty. I am sweaty. Better run. Nice launch again. Missed fourth gear, and then when it went into fourth gear, it went in with a clunk and got a bit of wheel spin in fourth. So that's odd, but whatever. Yeah. Not terribly happy because I missed fourth gear and didn't get a full run. So I've no idea what the time is, but it'd be 11 odd or whatever it is. So yeah, we've got one more for today, which is the scheduled qualifier for Friday evening. So we'll try and cool down, get the car cooled down as best we can, ready for that. In only, what, about 2 hours time or so, or just under. So we'll catch you then.
Alan Kenyon with the Hocus Focus up against Piotr Formella. You can clearly see the rear setup on Piotr's car, and there ain't much of it.
Nope.
I think is probably the best way of putting it, isn't it? As you have said many times, Luke, it's purely there for the purpose of holding the back end up.
So with a PB of 961 to a 10.8 for Alan Kenyon. Alan's got his second gear. Here comes Piotr at the mid-track, 114 at the 8th. And he goes through with a 10.18. Alan goes through with an 11.73.
Sounded very strange on the two-step, so we'll have to have a look at that. Yeah, very strange on the two-step, but in fact I got off it and I got back in it. And then when I got every gear, bit of limiter bashing, granted, but I got every gear. Fairly slow gear changes like, but I don't think that'll be a 10.
Qualifying, and it will start with front-wheel drive to be followed then by 4-cylinder, then 5 to 6 cylinder, 760 heads up, Choose.
Well, got every gear, kinda. Took too long to change gear and dropped off boost, hence why it pulled me a bit. 60 foot's disappeared. That was a 1.8 60 foot. Lost a tenth and a half there. A few mile an hour down at the 8th and only 133 out the back rather than nearly 140 that we were. So 11.78 gets us qualified, as I say, but now they've sprung on us in the drivers' meeting that instead of it being an all-run field, it's an all-run field only if 50 cars qualify. So if 50 cars don't qualify, that number is reduced down to 32. So if you're not one of the fastest 32, you don't race. So for people like me on the slower end, they're like, oh great, thanks, you know. Oh well, we'll see. But yeah, the two-step didn't sound right in that run for some reason. And I got off it and I got back on it again. And I don't know why I did that, but it sounded off, so I got off it and then got back on it and then went and it was like, well, head wobble in it. So we'll check the data, make sure nothing was wrong, and it was probably just me, or you can probably hear half the car next to me or something. It was a diesel, so it sounds different, doesn't it? So it's probably down to that, but we shall see. Right, I'll catch up with you when we're checking the data log out.
5 minutes later.
Okay, so I've got the laptop out, I'm having a look, figured out what's happened. I know why it's happened, but we can change it so it doesn't happen again. Right, so here we have the log from the run before where I ended up just missing fourth gear at that end there. So you'll notice here, throttle's 100%, two steps on, and we're at 5,200 RPM where we should be. And this is clutch pressure, so the clutch is pressed in, and then it comes down, you know, and then it comes down to 0, and then it goes up for the next gear change and up for the next gear change. Now if I go to the run we've just done, as you can see here where the mouse is, foot's gone to 100, two steps come on ever so slightly here, because the two step is currently on there. If we move, oh, what's going on here? Oh, I'm on log 5. I do that there. Watch this two step one, it goes on there. So the RPM is where it should be, 5.2, but then we one click further forward, or 2 clicks, there you go, 3 clicks. Clutch pressure has come down a little bit, but I'm still holding it in, so I'm just dragging it. And it's turned the two step off, so the RPM then screams to the sky. So basically I launched off the rev limiter. Not ideal, and I launched at 1 PSI. Hang on, let me video. So I launched at effectively, where is it? Yeah, 1 PSI. No, it was just building, sorry, and then it shot up, and then it kept climbing, and I actually left my foot off the clutch at 15 PSI. 15 PSI, so I got right close there, didn't I? So yeah, so we'll have to alter at what clutch pressure the two-step turns off, so I can drag it a little bit in to save snapping drive shafts. So that's what's happened on that run. I did think it sounded weird. I didn't have time to figure out what it was looking at the screen. If I'd have seen it, I'd have probably realised, oh, why are we at 8,000 RPM? That's different, you know. So yeah, that's what's happened there. So we'll get that changed. I'll enlist the help of Graham for that, because I'm not entirely sure how to do that. Yeah, so that's what went wrong. It's as easy as that, kids. Try something a little bit different and bang. So yeah, screwed that run up royally, because it was instantly on the chip and just torching the tyres in first.
Shut the fuck up, fat man. This ain't none of your goddamn business.
As you can see from that big gap there, because that beigey orangey line is front wheel speed and the green line is rear wheel speed. So as you can see, when we launched here, it just tortured them. My fault. We'll change it and then it won't happen again, and off we go. Morning all. It is Saturday morning. Geared up, we're ready to be called for qualifying number 2. I think we've solved all the problems now, so it's all down to me now. Currently not in the dance, but now they've announced it's only a 32 car field, so you've got to be qualified 32 or higher to be in. It's probably going to be a tall order for me, that, but we'll give it a shot. We've got 2 qualifiers today, and then the rest of the day if we need it. So we'll get these first two done this morning and see how we get on. So yeah, I will no doubt be back after this next round of qualifying with an update.
Also, blowing funny cars off course past the grandstands as well.
Ooh.
Exactly. Well, that's kind of a problem we sometimes still have here with the way that the grass bank works, but we very rarely get a wind coming from that direction anymore, do we? Okay, Al Kenyon, who was on the bump, I think he's now just outside, isn't he?
Yeah, just outside. He's one place outside. On Nick Shotton. Well, looks like a couple of issues for Alan. Nick's out in front.
Okay, so we've done that run. New problem. Got every gear though, but I went the wrong way with my adjustment last night on the clutch pressure job, so I've reverted back to last year's settings of the two-step will be off after 2 miles an hour. Clutch step will still do its thing and all that sort of carry on, so no change there. It's just we're now not using the clutch pressure switch, no clutch pressure sensor I should say, to do anything other than log. So yeah, we've got another qualifier in half an hour or so. We'll go from there, and currently we're out on the outside looking in. Bump spots like mid 11 or low 11, so we should be able to go faster than that. Time will tell. So we'll try this run here, and if that doesn't go well, then we'll have to wait till this afternoon when the lane's open for open qualifying and try again. And if that doesn't work, then we're a spectator for Sunday, which is less than ideal, but hey ho. Right, let's try it.
So, Alan Kenyon with the Hocus Pocus Focus in the Slick Tricks lane, who currently is not qualified. However, this is one end of the spectrum to the other pretty much, because in the other lane is your number one qualifier in front-wheel drive, David Lammick, who has managed to lop. Bear in mind he was like second or third on the list anyway.
Yeah, he was third on the list.
Of ET.
Yep.
And he's lopped nearly half a second off in one day.
Yes.
That is monstrous. That really is quite... You can't overstate how difficult that is to do. I just re-watched the run from earlier, and it did look like it was hurting itself at the top end. Obviously not. It was obviously something rubbing that had never rubbed before.
But his mile an hour was down by 7 miles an hour. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The fastest in the European front-wheel drive qualifying so far. David Lammick taking on Alan Kenyon. Can we see another 7-second pass? get in all gears. Here comes David. He goes 1:30.60. Alan goes 11:19, but David goes through 7:55, 191 miles an hour.
Semi-decent launch. That might put us in the dance. I reckon low 11. I reckon low 11. Or 1090s. Not every gear. Limiter bashing though, which robs you of time obviously. So, as I say, low 11, well that might put us in the dance. I'll be amazed if it's a 10, because that was second and third gear limiter action, but we'll see. Well, that was better. There's no more messing around with two steps or anything like that, and coming on or off. Changing it back to wheel speed has worked fucking mint. However, Knobhead here spent too long surprised by it all and chopping the limiter. So I shall now show you the data log to tell you what I'm on about. These blue lines here is rev limiter and the ignition cut based on the rev limiter. So as you can see at the top, that green line at the top here, look how long I was sat buzzing the limiter in second gear, and then also in third gear. Spent too long buzzing the limiter, which is here and here. So if we look, we went from the start light 3.15 seconds to 3.72 with the ignition limiter being on. So 0.6 of a second with the limiter on. Not good. And gave time away. So we ended up at 11.19. That put us in the dance for about 30 seconds before Ben Fadgeter went down and went 300ths of a second faster. So, if we want to be in the dance, we'll have to go again later on, once the lanes are in open qualifying. So we will do. No more changes to the car, just changed driver mod needed. No more crashing limiters, and then we should hopefully go a little bit quicker and try and get in the dance. So, next up is another run. Who knows how long it will be before we get to do that run, and the sun's out now, so it's getting hot as balls. We'll go from there. Catch you later.
Cars in a few classes that want to try and get in. This is another one of them. Al Kenyon with the Hocus Focus.
Now this car has been in the 10s. He's in the way. He's like, get out of the way. I've got to qualify. So, what is our bump spot now? Because obviously it might not come up on the
11-12.
Okay.
Alan is number 35, 2 broken, so in effect he's 33.
Okay.
I'm not saying there's not going to be any more breakages, but it wouldn't surprise me if there were.
But at the same time, look to get yourself in the top 32 anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially whoever's got him in the sweepstake. You're willing them on.
Get in the gears, he's wiggling it mid-track. Peter Fawn trying to keep up with him. Alan goes through 11.76, 133.
Okay, well, after queuing for fucking forever, and then they called lunch break, the track stuff, that was half an hour sat still doing note, and then all of a sudden everything happens at once. And then 2 sets of turning it off, being at the head of the lanes, and then to being told to turn it off and then back on again, turn it off, back on again, eventually gets a run. 60 foot turns out was shit, was a 175 and it was 1170 shite at whatever the fucking speed was. Problem with that run, launched, obviously it turned out to be a bit shit. But then it went straight into second. Fuck it, but I didn't realise. I was waiting for the lever to sort of click in. It had already in. So I'm rolling along with clutch in, like, and then before I realised it's fucking too late then, innit? So back on the throttle, and it pulled me all over the fucking place. I did a full-on Mark Dainty down the track there. And yeah, so at this point I'm cured of it, so we'll see if anyone drops out and I end up in by luck. If not, we'll see the drivers' meeting and see what happens and find out then. Right, let's have a look at the log from that last run. It was a hell of a mess because it went into second immediately, and I just didn't realise. I was waiting for my arm to sort of move and clunk in, but it was already in. So by the time I realised, the game was over. I'm off the throttle there for nearly a full second. Look at the length of the held the clutch in. It went straight in. First time like fucking forever, and I missed it. Well, as luck would have it, we made it into the dance. Number 32 qualifier. Pure luck, all down to other people braking or not being able to make it for whatever reason. So, well, hellfire, look at that. Now, once we got to the chip draw on the Saturday evening, turns out the mayor has been upgraded and promoted to a sheikh. Last up, here we have the round one pairings. I'm up against Romain, a French chap with a Peugeot 206 diesel looking for his first 9-second pass. On we go. Morning all. We're in the dance. Scraped in with enough people broken. So Sunday morning, we're all prepared, well, car's ready. I need to get suited and booted. I am racing a Frenchman in a Peugeot 206 diesel who qualified with a 10.18. So he's a good bit quicker than me. Qualified a full second faster. Oh, noisy V8 bastard. He qualified a full second faster than me, so even if I pull out a PB, you know, he's probably got enough to beat me, but you never know what will happen. He could break something in the burnout box, I could break something. He might be asleep on the tree. Who knows? So we'll go down there and we'll give it a go and see what happens. So we'll catch you after the end of this run.
That nearly panned out like we thought it might.
Did. And don't forget to all of our races, of course, later on in the day today, as long as everything runs okay, we will be opening up for a little bit of testing. So if you want to get some extra runs...
You mean grudge racing?
You want to do some grudge racing later on, don't put the car on the trailer just yet. Don't be so dismayed. Don't pack up. We've still got some testing time later on, as long as the day goes well. Right, next up, Alan Kenyon. Ice Bear Racing with the Hocus, Pocus, Focus. He's going to be taking on Romain Laurent from France with the two... Both cars leave together. Alan's got his second gear, so has Romain. They're side by side at the moment. We've got 112 to the 99. It is going to be Romain with a 1063, 140 miles an hour. Now,
That was a better run. Still a tiny bit of limiter. Not as bad as the other day. So. Yeah, still a bit of limiter, but not half as bad as the other day. So, to end the weekend on a semi-decent run, then you can't really ask for much more. I wasn't expecting that run, wasn't expecting to be in the dance. The Frenchman did his job, well, I did my job. I got every gear, maybe a little bit of limiter bashing. I think I got away before him, but I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, look, it turned out he had the power in the back half, so that's all she wrote for Doorslammers.
So, semi-decent run. A little bit of limiter bashing, tiny amount, but 11:07 at 1:37. So best run of the weekend by far. Yeah, happy to end on a decent pass. Not a great one, but decent. And beat by a faster car, which is what we expected anyway, let's be honest. I mean, getting in the dance was all we really wanted. And if we got lucky, we got lucky, but that guy did his job and I didn't do a well enough job, you know. But even if I did a PB, he still would have beat me, so I would have had to have gone considerably faster to beat him, so yeah, overall happy with that. A lot of frustrations this weekend, but that's racing, you know, it happens. Just look at Dash GTI show, nothing but drama, and then ended up by runs into semis, so ended on a high and ending on maybe not a high but a reasonable in a reasonable result. So yeah, right, we'll get the laptop out and check the data log over. See. Okay, so here we are with the data log. Not too bad, but as you can see, that the dark blue here is the time-based stuff that we're deliberately doing. As you see that big spike there, it was stopping it, just screaming away with wheel spin. And then this one is limiting end of first, this is end of second, this is end of third. So, and that one little spike is 20%. So caught it a bit there, as you can see, with the lines, like you see how it's a peak here, and it's a flat line there. That's just travelling along on the limiter, and a little bit there. So that's what happened. That certainly slowed me down a little bit, and also wheel spin all over second. So that slowed me down a little bit as well. So the time-based ignition cut did its job in first gear, otherwise 60 foot would have been horrific. So I dare say it was probably pretty bad. I've not seen the time slip yet. I dare say that wasn't a 1.6 60 foot by no means. That'd be 1.7s, 1.8s, I think. But yeah, so there's room for improvement. Obviously, I don't think the track was all that there. Not a lot of running today, and they stripped it last night, so not a lot of rubber down or whatever. So it wasn't the perfect track conditions, but certainly not bad, you know. So yeah, that's what happened on that run. Right, we can watch everyone else go and slowly start to pack up, ready for the drive home. Cool.
So there we have it. Doorslammers is over. Made it into the dance by the skin of our teeth, thanks to breakages of other people and pure luck. Hard work, that. Hard work. Ended on a semi-decent pass, but was by no means good. Yeah, I cannot wait to have a fucking dog box in this car. For now, I think before USC, I'll get this gearbox out and some new synchros and Bork rings and see if that helps at all. Might not do, who knows. But that's what we'll try, and then that'll see us out for this year, and then next year hopefully get this dog box in. As for Doorslammers, had a great time, as you normally do with the drag racing peoples. Loads of good fun. Car didn't run great, well, ran great, but didn't perform well, largely thanks to me and potentially this gearbox. So, there we have it for another year. Doorslammers is done. Onwards and upwards, as they say. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.